matter with that cat there?
Must be full of reefer.
Full of reefer?
Yeah, man.
Mean that cat's high?
Sailing.
Sailing?
Lightly.
We now wander off the beaten path with an update from the Reefer Reporter.
Welcome to the Reefer Reporters with Cannabis News Hawks, Kim Cooper, and myself, Al Graham of the Pace Radio Show. Tonight we are going to talk and discuss the cannabis news from around the world from the week of January the 2nd to January the 8th, 2018. Well, Kim, how are you tonight?
I'm doing very well tonight, Al. Lots going on in the cannabis world, new and exciting stuff for a brand new year.
It sure is. There's lots going on. There's no doubt about that.
That's for sure. Getting right to it. First up on the list, our friend of the show, Miss Abby Roach, made the news once again.
Yes, she did. I see. She was in Leafly, had an interview in there talking about cannabis and lifestyle.
Yeah, Abby, I mean, she's top of her field, great member of the community, explosive enterprises going on. So much on this young lady's plate. She's got her fingers in all kinds of pies in the cannabis community and has been making headlines for quite some time.
Oh, yeah, and she's getting right involved in, going to council meetings and everything for the city of Toronto to discuss, the cannabis issue and trying to get them involved and get them to approve places for patients to go and consume as well as recreational uses, and that's vapor lounges.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she operates a bed and breakfast in Jamaica and runs cannabis tours, up to Bob Marley's ranch and places like that. Great place to go for a vacation. Few enterprises going on in the city of Toronto. And, this young lady got her start selling hemp jewelry in front of the Friendly Stranger in downtown Toronto.
Yeah, and it just shows you how she's grown. I know here in this article, as I mentioned, Leafly by Elena Lev, I believe, she mentions that she's lived my life and operated this business in a white-gray line of the law, and whatever they throw at me, she says she'll figure it out, no matter what.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a way, there's a will. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Always. She's learned so much over the years through community members and reached out to, portray that knowledge onto others and encourage other people to get into cannabis-related industries and run that gray line. She's very happy about her life and the places that it's going right now. And she's looking forward to the future and future enterprises.
Yeah. Oh, well, I can tell you, they've got a list here of some of the things. You mentioned the Hot Box there, the cafe in Toronto and in Jamaica. They also got the hydroponic store there that she runs, as well as Spliff Magazine.
Yeah. Spliff, great magazine. It's been around for a very long time, educating people across the country. We also carry that here in Ulster as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's she's done really well, and it's good to see an article like this about what she's been doing. Yeah.
She's motivated to go after the city of Toronto and try and make for some changes in the official stand that they're taking in that city right now. And like she says, everything takes time. So she's in this for the long haul, and she's not going anywhere anytime soon.
No, she's not. Yeah. So I recommend that everybody take a look at this article in Leafly and read about Abby Roach.
Absolutely.
The gray market cannapreneur.
Cannapreneur.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Changing the word.
What else have we got here, Kim?
Well, I think next up I'd like to talk a little bit about the North, and Kapuskasing in Northern Ontario aims to profit from the medical marijuana business. News article recently came out in the CBC by Angela Jamel. It was a late December article, but I'm tossing it in here because it is regarding the North. They're opening up a new facility in Northern Ontario. The Economic Development Corporation is on board with a company called Cannaucks. and they're a producer of pharmaceutical grade cannabis, and they're going to be opening up a new facility in Kapuskasing.
It looks like about 8.5 million worth of new facility.
Yeah, big price tag on this. They're saying it's approximately 45,000 square foot building. They're looking at construction starting in the spring and going to take about 8 months to complete. Now, they're also promising 60 jobs plus spin-off jobs will be coming from this economic boom of the building of this new facility for the LPs.
Now, from my understanding, the LPs have to get 2 crops off before the government will allow them to, proceed and start selling them to patients. I see here they're hoping to open up, start serving patients at the end of 2018. But it might take a little bit longer than that, but it's good to see the business come to the north.
It is. It's great to see it come to the north. This will be the second community in the north that'll have a LP growing facility registered here. We have a second one. Delshin is also located in Kirkland Lake, Ontario. When they launched 3 years ago, I was part of a discussion that they had in Kirkland Lake and the ground announcement that they were coming. They made a similar claims to what this company is making as far as the jobs front is concerned. Sadly, Kirkland Lake and area has not profited from economic booms from the Delshin company, and there haven't been the materialization of jobs. So I'm curious to see how that will pan out for the Kapuskasing area, since it hasn't done what they've said it was going to do in Kirkland Lake.
That'd be interesting. Well, hopefully it works out that it does what they say they're going to do. And I see here that the town says that they provided residents to raise questions and concerns about these types of projects. And they had 2 of these meetings, and there was no negative comments.
Yeah. They usually do meetings beforehand. My biggest issue with those kind of things is the meetings aren't widely publicized. The general public at large doesn't really know about it. They'll put something out from your local community center or from your local government or members of chambers of commerce. But let's face it, the majority of people and households don't even read those flyers that come to us in our mailboxes. So there was very little advertising about the meetings, but I'm still encouraged by the fact that the Chamber has opened up their arms and welcomed a cannabis-related business into the community. I think it will bode well in the long haul for the community. I just hope that the company sticks to its promise of the materialization of jobs for locals, and that jobs aren't given out and designated to people that are brought in from other areas because of their expertise. Local jobs are what are needed here for people that live here now.
Yeah, for sure. And this is one way of providing them, too. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's time for Mr. Sessions to sit down and have a session.
Yeah, Mr. Sessions. This guy is something and out of somewhere, and I'm not sure exactly where. Talk about backpedaling. Jeff Sessions and this entire administration that's run by the Trump organization over there, they're backpedaling on everything. I mean, they're taking us back to the 1960s and pre-1960s era, for not only cannabis laws and regulations, but other things as well. Civil rights and everything else is in there. But what he's done this time, I cannot see the states standing up and allowing this to happen. And just sitting back and allowing it to happen. Individual states making millions of dollars.
Republican
Civil war.
Yeah, Republican senators and that, they're all speaking out as well. No, I wouldn't say all of them, but there are some that are speaking out.
Yeah, any state that's legal right now, their representatives are just losing their stuff right now because they don't know what the hell to do with this guy. If the DEA under Sessions comes into a legal state and does a raid, I can see that provoking a civil war.
Yeah, it's not going to end well.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a good situation in the USA. I think people have had enough, and the feds coming into any legal state, the people not only will stand up, but I think the government of that state will also take a stand because they've got the money that they don't want to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Now, in this article by let me see, who was the writer of this one? I always have to give him credit. Laura Jarrett of CNN down there in the good old USA. Oh, now I've lost my spot. Okay, he says that it's the return to rule of law. Like if it's a rule of law, then they've got a state law that says people can grow and consume cannabis.
That's right. And I mean, it goes back to 2013. In 2013, when individual states began to legalize cannabis, there was a memo released that now is known as the Cole Memo. Basically, it was a directive to federal prosecutors that essentially adopted a policy of non-interference on marijuana-friendly state laws. So that's what Sessions has rebutted now. Mm-hmm. He's saying, out with the Cole Memo, we're not listening to that. We're going to interfere with your, state law because it goes against our federal mandate.
Well, that's all the Sessions time we need to discuss about having a session. We should have a session soon, but we got some more news here, Kim. Where do you think we're going to go next?
I kind of like this next story, Al. The Disneyland of stoned gaming. This is a story out of LA Weekly. It was put out January 5th by Pulse. Really excellent story. The new evolution of gaming is brought together with cannabis, and we have Stone gaming founder, CEO, Zeus Tapado, perhaps very enthusiastic interviewee from what I understand. He's highlighted in this article, and he started up this thing where people are in esports and computer gaming, and he brought cannabis together with that, and he developed Stone Gaming in 2016, and it's taking off by quite a storm in the U.S.
Yeah, I see. Was he involved in mixed martial arts?
Yeah, he's a popular MMA enthusiast, and he operates a site for the MMA as well. And he's a true gamer, and he calls himself an aficionado of stoning, and he loves getting high and playing amazing games. So he's put these two things together and created this whole new genre. And I wonder if it'll spread to the north.
Maybe. Well, it says here in the article that millions have enjoyed gaming since Pong. Pong.
Yeah. Good old Pong.
I remember I had Pong.
We had Pong, it left lines in my mother's TV and she freaked out.
That's right. So he's surprised that he says he's surprised that this didn't happen earlier because there has been so many people who have been involved in gaming over the years.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. He said, he's taken what's been going on in homes and dorm rooms and arcades across the country for decades, and he formalized and normalized it. It's the 420 gaming genre, and it's taking off like gangbusters.
Yeah, and by the looks of it, it does happen on 420 as well.
Yeah. He started off in downtown Los Angeles, and it's expanding from there.
Las Vegas. Los Angeles. Okay. They did one in Las Vegas and Los Angeles.
Yeah. So, I mean, great evolution for a little mashup to come together, gaming and stoners.
Yes, for sure.
There you go.
Yeah, there's lots of that that go. Smoke many dudes playing games over the times.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They use craft cannabis. They use different like that in their venues. It's a culture that's being celebrated and created as they walk the walk and talk the talk.
Yes. Well, hey, everybody can check out the article at LA Weekly by Paul Rogers. Hey, I wonder if he's the same guy who used to be a singer. and learn more about these stoner games. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, for sure. What's next?
But next we are going to go to Saskatoon. Isn't that running to Saskatoon? Isn't that a song?
I think so. Good old Saskatoon. What's going on there?
What's going on there? Well, there's not a lot going on as far as information, as far as ways the Saskatchewan government is going to come out with their legalization issues. And, municipal governments are sort of trying to come up with, regulations and some rules, and they're not getting that from the government.
Yeah, that's for sure. Saskatoon and Saskatchewan in general has been last on the list to chime in our provinces across this country with the legalization regime, really dragging their feet on it.
Yes, exactly. They discuss something that's pretty standard, changing the smoking bylaws to include cannabis. It's a lot of, that's happening pretty well right across the country. So.
Yeah, so places like Saskatoon are no longer waiting for the province of Saskatchewan to come out with something, and they're now starting to hold, board meetings and stuff across their cities, like the city of Saskatoon is, and trying to come up with their own sort of blanket bylaws for the different communities before Saskatoon even announces.
Yeah, well, SUMA, which is the Saskatchewan Urban Municipalities Association, their president, he says that they're really worried about legalization, and they're waiting for guidelines from the province. And he says that this freight train, calls it a freight train, is coming down the tracks, and they're not getting any guidance.
Yeah. So they're not really sure what to do, but I guess they're going to try and muddle their way through it without the help of the province, which is a real shame. I wish more provinces would be forthcoming and work with municipalities and work with the cannabis consumers, patients, and advocates alike that are across this country that voted in a prime minister that was basically on the platform of legalization. A lot of these provinces, the majority of them, their flow of concentration seems to be on what's this going to cost us. I can't wrap my head around the fact that so many of them think there's going to be increased costs for policing and municipalities when there should be decreased costs with legalization.
Exactly, there should be. Okay, we have to move on to the next story before we run out of time.
Yep.
Okay.
And next
and
one
where are we
up
off
is...
to?
Yeah, how the Fed's pot plan can trigger home insurance claims. This is a good one. Home insurance claims are now the next target on the list of targets for people looking to make money and put a wrench into things, so to speak. There's already been issues with insurance companies stating that if you are a medical patient even and you have a grow up in your house, they are going to stop your insurance and cancel your insurance on you. You're not going to be covered for insurance even if that grow up isn't on your property. Well, their latest venture into this whole waiting pool now is that they're worried about adjusters looking at adjusting your home insurance premiums. If you are a consumer, what if a person leaves your home and is intoxicated on cannabis and has an accident? Is the homeowner now on the hook for any potential damages that this could cause? This whole thing to me is just ludicrous.
Oh, it is. It is. And, when it comes to the growing of the cannabis, people will be able to grow 4 plants. And, will they be denied home insurance in a situation where is nothing related to the cannabis?
Yep. Yep, so absolutely.
It's just as legal as anything else that is in the household. It shouldn't be something that is created to prevent someone from getting a claim.
Yeah, absolutely. They're trying to say that they're using anecdotal evidence that is coming out of Colorado and other legal states in the U.S. to show that people that are unknowingly consuming cannabis products that are containing cannabis can sometimes have adverse effects, and then they can wind up in a situation where they need help or they have an accident. And this could enact a claim on the person or the homeowner here. Again, ludicrous. I mean, they're using stats that are 1 in 100,000 that this happens. And if something like that is so outrageous, it can affect a homeowner's rates, then we better start looking at who can have a satellite dropped on their house, because they better get an increase in rate too.
That's right. That's right. Well, better move on to the next story.
Yeah, for sure. What's up next?
Yep, first show. We're adjusting to the times. Okay. All right, the next story is when it comes to legal cannabis, recreational-wise, what are we going to do about the guys in the military? It seems that there is a concern there. You know, will the people there in the military, air crews, soldiers, sailors, all that type of stuff, will they be able to consume cannabis?
Well, to me, the whole question is mute. What have we been doing for the last 100 years with people in the military that have been consuming cannabis on an ongoing basis? This isn't a new product that is being developed and put out on the market for people to consume. This is a plant that's been around for thousands and thousands of years, and we have been consuming it for that entire time. So it's not a new thing that's going to happen that the military needs to look at. This has been going on for already without any complications and without any problems. So I don't see how it can have a problem in the future.
Either do I. And I see the article in the CBC website by Murray Brewster. They talked about, over in Afghanistan or some places, other places, they do actually consume alcohol while they're out there. And they do have restrictions where they don't allow alcohol to be served. So they don't seem to, they have some concern about people getting, drunk and not being able to do their jobs. So I can see, maybe they have the same concern with the cannabis, but they don't prevent them from using it unless they're in special circumstances. They allow them access to this, just as if they were at home, and the cannabis issue shouldn't be any different.
Absolutely. It's to me, it's a non-issue. Like you say, they allow the use of alcohol and everything else, and that's ongoing right now. Cannabis is absolutely no different, and it is currently being consumed by our members of the military. As far as being used and being on the job and being, stoned or intoxicated or what have you on any substance, we're talking about the military here. If boys in the military don't know the difference of being not intoxicated at work, then we're all in trouble.
Big time. Big time. We sure are. We sure are. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay,
enough said on that.
We've only got about a minute or two left here, Kim.
Okay, so pick and choose. Pick one. I'll let you pick.
Well, here's one.
There's
4
two
reasons
left.
Canada's why the industry is running circles around the U.S. industry when it comes to the cannabis part.
Yeah. Well, you know what? A lot of people will disagree with this article. A lot of people will agree with this article. There's two sides to every coin. We are running circles around the U.S. and the cannabis industry for a couple of reasons with our exports and stuff like that, only because we have legalization regime on the table, on the horizon, on a federal level. But as far as individual rights go and availability and stuff like that, I think a lot of states are running circles around Canada. So I guess it all depends on where you live.
Yes. Yeah, it does. It does. Big time. And you got to look, California, it's got to be the size of Canada.
Yeah, that's right. Right. And they're doing really good things there, a lot better than we are.
They allowed people who were involved in the cannabis underground to be involved in legalization without restricting them.
That's right.
They encouraged them to be part of it.
That's exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. So like I say, it all depends on where you live. As a whole, on the countryside, Canada's running circles around the U.S., but that's only because there's Jeff Sessions and Donald Trump.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Kim, this is our first podcast. It's the Reefer Reporters. I think we've done all right. What do you think?
I think it was all right, and I'm glad to be here with you, Al, and bring the people the regular news and what's in the headlines on the headline front in Canada and abroad as far as cannabis and cannabis-related concerns are out there. Good to be here with you, and I'm glad everybody tuned in, and I hope you enjoyed the show.
Well, thank you for joining me and helping me out with this project. I look at it as an extension from our little news reports that we do on the Pace Radio Show.
Absolutely.
Some growth. Okay. Well, in closing, we'd like to say thank you for listening to the Reefer Reporters podcast. And if you enjoyed it, please share it like you would a tray of excellent infused treats. Until next time, puff, puff, pass.
Roll up another swisher, let's get high. 4 seconds to get the blunt rolled. 3 seconds we getting